Step on up, grab a chair, take a load off your feet. There's whiskey on the table and stories to repeat. We're talking about the hustle, the grind, and what we'll find in the heart of second chances where treasures bind.
Welcome everyone to the video. Welcome to the channel. This video is going to come out a little bit later in the day because I decided to finish shooting it, or actually just reshoot it on Saturday. And yeah, it was just getting too late on Friday. So what happened Friday was there was a scheduled power outage in our neighborhood they've been working up in the mountains in our area and for the power company. And today or yesterday, which is it's now yesterday, was the final push. So they had to shut everything down, obviously, to so the workers can operate safely. And so it lasted a little bit longer than the 8 hours they anticipated. So we had to go out and get something to eat, kind of cook. And things just got too late, and I was getting tired, and I didn't care for the content for what I was creating. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to redo it. I'm just going to redo the whole thing tomorrow. So, which is right now. So we're going to be talking about live selling today. Obviously what sold, live selling, what sold on eBay, that is. And then also, we'll kind of touch on the economy, things, the stock market. It's not too crazy. It's been rather quiet as of late. Quiet in reselling, quiet in, the news as far as what's going on out there. So, that's good. That's good, I guess. But let's go ahead and get a pour in really quick. I'm breaking out the Woodford Reserve. This is all from the back of my cabinet. So I've been shifting things to the forward so I know what I have and what I know I can break into. This is a Kentucky straight malt whiskey. So malt referring to malted barley. So, and in order to be able to say that, all these like rules and everything when it comes to alcohol, spirits, whiskey, so in order to be able to put that statement on here, it has to, the mash bill, or what makes up your mash, which turns into the whiskey, has to be at least 51% malted barley. Typically, like bourbon, it can already be called a bourbon, an American whiskey bourbon. It has to be, I think, 51% corn. And yeah, then there's other rules for other countries, states, whatever. But if this were to say single malt, which you see on Scotch whiskey, then that means the whole thing is malted barley. So if it's a single malt, it just means that the whole thing is malted barley. If it just says malt, it means there's only some malted barley, or there's at least 51% malted barley in your mix. So it's a bit unusual for, American whiskeys to be, they do have malted barley in there. They have barley in there, unmalted, malted. But it's, a little more unusual to have a 51% malted barley whiskey. So, Woodford Reserve, I'm going to crack that open here, and I'll give you my tasting notes on that. Yeah, it is Woodford Reserve, and Woodford Reserve is a very good American whiskey. I definitely highly recommend it. Let's see here, but they do other variations. They do their standard, which you see in stores everywhere, and then they do different variants as well too of that. So this is so with it being heavily, heavier in the malted barley, you might start to think of Scotch whiskey, getting those flavors from Scotch whiskey, the butterscotch, the fruits, it won't be anything like an Islay Scotch whiskey, because most of those are peated. And I think there are some American whiskeys that do work with the peat, but not many. This is not. So this will be just like a combination of, in my opinion, on the nose, it's kind of a combination of Scotch, very young, like it's a very young Scotch, if that makes any sense. But a Scotch combined with a bourbon is what I'm getting here. Because you get the very American whiskey bourbon on the nose. You get it heavily, the cherry, the big cherry flavor that I always talk about, and cherry soda. But you get some hints of the malted barley in there. You get that it kind of reminds me of Scotch a little bit. There's definitely the heat from American whiskey in there. You know, it's definitely the heat is definitely different. But for me at least, for different between different whiskeys, um, a Scotch whiskey hits different than an American whiskey. Than Irish whiskey. An American, in my opinion, is more of a bigger punch. Hits you in the gut really most of the time. And that's what I'm getting here. That big punch of American whiskey heat. It's like a So if you like bourbon, you'll definitely like this. It's more like a mellow bourbon. It's not really one way I've always described bourbon to me, it's always like cherry soda, cherry Coke, black cherry Pepsi, whatever pick your pleasure. But this, I think, because it's so heavy in the malted barley, it kind of, to me, the best way to describe it would be like a flat soda, like a flat cherry soda. That's the way I would describe it here. Like just like a flat. It's not that it's bad. It's really good. It's kind of just mellowed out some of those. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of Scotch flavor. I don't know if it works well in this, but better on the nose, but it's still a good drink. Still a nice, mellow, well-balanced drink. I would prefer the Woodford. I don't really get too much smoke in this one. I mean, there is some like fresh wood, like fresh cut wood. Yeah, definitely like some fresh cut wood. I mean, it's good. It has all the classic bourbon flavors, just a little bit more mellowed on those flavors. The heat's there from American whiskey. And I don't know. I wonder how long it's been aged for. I don't know. 4 or 5 years or so. It doesn't say, and it says proprietary batch, so we probably won't ever know what the actual mash bill or what makes up the what other grains they used in it. But 45.2% alcohol, so rather high, a bit high. I mean, not crazy high. It's a little bit higher than normal. 40% would be, I guess, baseline for most. So you got a little over 90 proof on that. It was actually batch number 50 of 804. So 804 bottles were made, and this is bottle number 50. So not a bad drink. Definitely, the Scotch whiskey is there. It's kind of just provides a balance, an overall, not a balance, an overall muting of the American whiskey bourbon. Bourbon is what I'm really getting, in my opinion. Very good, very good. You know, I like Woodford. I like the regular Woodford. I would probably just buy the regular Woodford if it was me. I wouldn't, if you see these two on the thing, you're not sure what to get, I would stick with the regular Woodford. I believe this one is a little bit more expensive than the regular Woodford, but so I wouldn't spend extra money on it if you're not gonna, enjoy different expressions. Okay. Oh, let's jump into the what sold. Let me get my phone ready here and the pictures ready. I'm uploading a video to TikTok and I've been having some issues with it. It keeps telling me this video, what is it saying? Like it can't be shown. It's not eligible for recommendation, and I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is behind it. Maybe there's something in the video. I don't know. I have this problem from time to time. Sometimes no issues at all, but sometimes there's an issue with just the one video. So I'm assuming, so I have a song associated with the video, and I'm just assuming maybe it's not the song because I swapped out songs. And so I'm assuming there's something in the video that is, that they're picking up that they don't like. So I don't really know what it is. They don't tell you exactly what it is. It's not like YouTube, where YouTube will actually tell you what the problem is and you can actually go cut it out. TikTok is not that way. So I'll have to figure that out a little bit later. I'll probably just have to upload a totally different video. So, um, okay. So right off the bat, we have a mouse. Now this is, a trackball mice or track mice do really well. Definitely something to look out for. And, this one here, let's see. I go back to my screenshot here. Where are we at? Here we go. Okay. Okay. There we go. So this one, these do really well. Not necessarily this brand, but the older ones, the Microsoft Logitech ones, the ones kind of like this right here. This is a really cool one. Goes for up over $100. This is a Logitech variant. So there is a Microsoft variant of that. There's actually two different Logitech variants. And they're really cool. I don't know why they don't make them anymore, that style anymore. It's really cool. This is the one they make now. They make the one with a thumb, which is incredibly annoying in my opinion. I like this. I like this style. So I thought when originally I couldn't find these, I didn't have these. This one was from Amazon. It might work, but it's just too weird. I just don't like it. I don't like the feel. It's not very. It's ergonomic, but it's not very ergonomic for me. So I decided opted to sell it. They do this company, this Elecom. They do make they do make a couple of variants of this, and I tried them both, and they're not very good at all. There is a company that is making ones like the old style, and I can't remember their name, off the top of my head. But if I do think about it, I will let you know. If I do remember, I might look for it when I cut the video really quick. But there is a brand out there that is remaking some of the older ones, and they're just look really good. Look really good. I haven't tested it out, but I hope to soon. Okay, this one's over $22.61, $10.58 what they paid in shipping. So it was a little bit heavy, and went in a padded poly bag. So really, really cool. Really, really cool piece. Okay, let's go that way. Okay, there we go. Got it right. All right. So we have the Garfield plush. These old Dakin plushes do really, really well. They don't go for a crazy amount. There are some that do go for quite a bit, but not many. Most of them will float around the $15 to $20 range. This was a smaller plush, and this one went for $14.36, $5.80 what they paid in shipping, went in a padded poly bag. And so really, really cool. And you got to get it for less than $3, in my opinion. 3, 4 is kind of pushing it. 5's, in my opinion, is kind of really pushing it. You want to get it for less than that. But really, really cool. They have the Garfields that kind of cling to windows as well, too. Those ones tend to go for about $20-ish. But these smaller ones still do really well. They're easy to ship, easy to picture. I do pick up this brand, if I do see it and if it's in good condition and it's a good price, I will pick it up. It doesn't matter if it's Garfield or not. It's just an old retro vintage brand that I'm hoping, someone out there is looking for that exact plush, not necessarily Garfield, but any one of that brand, cause it's old, like I remember this back in the 80s and 90s. So really, really cool. Keep your eye out for these vintage Garfield. They do sell incredibly well. And mind you, the items I'm showing you here, I forgot to mention this. This isn't everything I sold. These are just the cool, unique items that I picked out from my what sold for the last week. And I just think they're cool. They're unique. There might be items that everybody will be passing up, but I'm here to tell you, just take a second look. Use Google Image. Google Image can be your friend, or if you see it here on the video and you end up seeing it in a thrift store, just know that some of these items do sell. There's some of them that don't necessarily sell for a crazy amount of money. They're not like huge bolos, but they do create consistent sales on eBay. So this here, I already sold the refrigerator, which I think I showed that in the previous video, but this one now sold. These delights, definitely a name to look out for. These are die cast metal, so they are heavy. They do have a bit of weight to them. This is the stove top and has a little oven. On top here, it's actually a bread maker. There's actually another sliding door up there, which is really cool, very intricate. $40.33 what it sold for. $9.31 in shipping is what they paid when they padded poly bag. But excuse me, dollhouse miniatures is an incredibly great category for me. I sell a lot of items in that category. It does incredibly well. So keep your eye out for these dollhouse miniatures. Typically, they are wood or plastic. I don't come across metal or die cast ones that often, but this one had a ton of moving parts and there were little trays and things you can pull out from here. So really, really cool piece. Definitely keep your eye out for these delights or anything that's really, really die cast. Luckily, this has all the markings underneath it. But dollhouse items, if it's well made, vintage, and especially if it's die cast, keep your eye out. Matches. Now I'm still selling matches. I still have some matches that I'm selling. This one sold surprisingly a matchbook, just a tiny little matchbook, sold for $8, and shipping was $5.80 on this one. So really, really cool. I mean, don't pass up matches. You can generally get them in huge bundles. So you're paying one, usually very small price. People don't usually charge that much for matches. They don't think that there's a lot of value there. But and there isn't necessarily a lot of value, but if you take $8 here, $5 here, $7 here, $10 here, I sold a 2-pack of these restaurant matches. The restaurant was really nothing really about the restaurant, but it came from Amityville, New York. And what do we know about Amityville? The Amityville horror. So that's how I marketed the matches as. So this one here, Hotel Monaco, and Monaco is a very wealthy city, wealthy place. So I figured these would have a little bit more value than others, than the other ones. Some of them I do group up, like if, Holiday Inn, bunch of Hyatt ones or restaurant ones, I'll group them all together, like Denny's or something like that. I'll put them all in like a restaurant bundle. I'll put them in a hotel bundle and I'll sell them like that. But I will cherry pick ones out of there that I think can go for a little bit more because, majority of them, like the Amityville one, this one here, there's no data. There's no, there's no sell-through rate. There's really nothing to tell you that this is going to have a little bit more value than others. So what you have to do is just rely on your past knowledge of reselling, selling items, selling matches, and wholesale stuff. And it didn't steer me wrong. So, I mean, it's not crazy amount. We're not getting richer. It's $8. It's only $8, but still, it all adds up. So really, really cool. Oh, on the whole bundle of matches, I'm already, well into the profit on those. So this is just more icing on the cake. Here's another item. Really, there's no data to go on for this exact clock. There's nothing to tell me that it has any value. Everything would tell you leave it behind at the thrift store. Especially if you see this name, the Telstar name. Don't just start buying Telstar clocks and start trying to resell them, because this one sold for $55.82, 13 cents 92, $13.92 in shipping. Not all of them, Telstars are not going to go for around $50. Okay, but this one did. And why did this one go for that much? Because this has a thermometer, a hydrometer. It not only has a 12-hour clock down here, but it is also in military time. It also has all different world cities around the clock as well. Not sure how you would tell the time because I don't know. You would just have to, make the calculation when you see the time. But it's in military time as well. It's so really, really cool. And that's what really got it sold for that $55. The fact that I had all those components along with it. Not that it was a Telstar clock. Because the Telstar clock, I wouldn't even pick up a Telstar clock if it was just a generic basic Telstar. But the fact that this had a bunch of things going for it, thermometers, hydrometers, barometers, I sell them all the time. They do incredibly well. I sell vintage alarm clocks. They sell all the time. They sell very well. This was this is not it's not an alarm clock. It had a combination of a lot of other things that do sell really well in one package. And that is what prompted me to believe it should sell for quite a bit. And sure enough, it did. $55.82. Padded poly bag. On my large padded poly bags. I didn't just throw it in a padded poly bag and that was it. All these items do get wrapped in additional bubble wrap. So just be aware of that. There will be additional bubble wrap that is needed to ship these items out. And don't get your bubble wrap. I mean, if you're shipping a lot of items, don't go to Walmart, don't go to Target, don't go to Office Depot, don't buy your bubble wrap there. It's expensive. You're going to need to find some sort of distributor. I order mine online, and you're going to get gigantic rolls the size of dump truck wheels delivered to your house or wherever you deliver. So, and then it's really cheap. Okay. Now, silverware hasn't been selling that well, and that's probably because, we're out of the season when people get together. So, it tends to do a lot better towards the end of the year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, people are, in having company and they need silverware or matching sets. And so IKEA silverware does better than most. It's not the best quality, but the name, it's all about the name when it comes to IKEA here. And we sold this set of 8 for $29.02. $8.71 what they paid in shipping when the padded poly bag. And silverware, it still moves. It still moves. I'm still picking up because it will move. Stick to the good names: IKEA, Oneida. Intricate patterns do well. Whether they're silver plated or not doesn't really do well unless you find actual silvers or sterling silver. Then it can do really well. Fortessa is another great brand to look out for. Cambridge is another good brand to look out for. So try to buy them in large bundles. Try to get them as low as possible. And then you can sell them as giant sets. You can piece it out however you wish to do it at that point. Try to get as big a bundle as possible. Don't pay too much. Spoons and forks do a lot better than like dinner knives or serveware. So just regular old spoons, teaspoons, tablespoons, dinner forks, salad forks do way better than others. So definitely keep your eye out for IKEA silverware. People still like IKEA. Although not IKEA lights. I stopped buying IKEA lights. They aren't selling. So don't buy IKEA lights. Okay. Over here. So this one is, I don't, really, really like to talk about those huge bolos. And by those huge bolos, I mean those ones that you pay $5, $6, $7, $8 in this case, and it goes for $100, $150, $200, $300, because it's not something that is really repeatable. It's not something, it's not easy to find, 10 times your money, 20 times your money, 30 times. It's not easy. It's not difficult. I mean, it is difficult to find those items, is what I mean. It's very easy to take, $5, turn it into 20, 30. We'll start getting higher. And I talked about this before. When you start getting higher, it starts to get a lot harder and harder to find those types of items. And then you find your buy-in price start to go up. Instead of paying, let's say, if it goes for $100 more or less, and someone kind of knows what they're doing, you might end up paying 20 or 40 or 30, so your buying cost is going to go up, with the technically, more often than not, your buying cost will go up the more value something has. Especially nowadays, because everybody can just Google image anything and see what something can potentially go for. But they're still out there. They're still out there. Like these ones where you pay, $5 turn into 100, a couple bucks turn into 100, 200. They're still out there. And this one, and the reason why I'm including it in here is because it's unique enough to include in here. It's really unique, really cool, and it belongs in this segment. So Angry Wobot Gazing Panda Art Sculpture 15 to 25. There's only 25 out there. And the artist is Aaron Martin. So when you look it up, clothing comes up, and a bronze actual statue of a panda comes up as well too. And the bronze went for $500. So this was a resin bust, and I wasn't too sure. I figure the bronze was going to be top of the market. And this is not bronze. So bronze do really well. Bronze, anything does usually pretty good. But I figured maybe about 200, 250 or so. So I did price it up with the anticipation of accepting anything around $200. And if someone paid me full $300 asking price, I'm like, all right, cool. So I got an offer, and it was an overseas offer, which is great because no takebacks. um, of 175 for this piece. And so I was glad. I was like, all right, excellent. $175. That's a pretty amazing. So I took it, sent it off, $11.70 what they paid in shipping. This did go in a box because it was, going overseas. And nonetheless, because of the price point as well, too, I wanted it to be a little bit more presentable. So I went an 8x8x8 box. How many did I say there? Should have been 3/8. So the more you put yourself out there, the more you put yourself in a position to find these items, they will start appearing, but don't just rely upon those items. I see so many people who just go through the thrift store looking for those big bolos. They just look for big hits, and that's it. They scour the aisles. They're turning over everything, Google imaging things, looking things up, and then putting it back when it's not a big hit, you know. Um, but if you're gonna be doing this full time, if you're gonna be, expecting to get consistent sales, you gotta find profit everywhere. You can't just wait for the big bolos to fall into your lap. It's not gonna happen. If you're waiting for it, it's like a home run hitter. You know, they don't hit a home run every time they go up there. Majority of the time they're striking out. And then there's the hitters, the people that just constantly get hits and get on base. Those are the ones that you can kind of count on to be consistent. Or home runs, it's not very, very consistent. It's not something that you can definitely count on, but when it happens, it's great. So same thing here, same logic. Okay, porcelain sign. This isn't an old porcelain sign, even though it looks old, it's not. It's a reproduction. It's really, really cool. You definitely want to look up this name, Andy Rooney. It's on the back, on a sticker on the back. So hopefully it has a sticker. But this actual approved laundry, I could not find anywhere. A bunch of other signs. There were a bunch of other signs by Andy Rooney. But this actual one I could not find, and they range around 15 on the low end to about 30. This sold for $30. This went in my large padded poly bag. $6.51 is what they paid in shipping, and really, really cool. Definitely look out for it. There's a lot of consistent sales under this name, under this brand. So I'll be seeing these signs. Definitely pick them up. A lot of these, even a lot of these reproduction porcelain signs do really, really well, especially if they're associated with some sort of brand, gas brand, anything like that. Those do really well. I looked this one up. There was nothing out there on it. So I aimed for the top of the market, and I got it. I got top of the market. So that's pretty cool. And organization. I sell organizers like Franklin Covey's all the time. This is not one of those. This is just a recipe file. So it's from Hallmark, and it's sold. It sold very, very quickly within a matter of a few hours of me listing it. You have to price it right, so you can't expect more than $20 on this. I mean, you can't really even expect $20. It's sold for $15.14. $6.21 is what they paid in shipping. And so, and it went in a padded poly bag. So it was an easy shipper. It was lightweight, easy to picture. It was in good condition, and it sold fast. Recipe things do really well. I sold the recipe tin box with a bunch of cards in it not too long ago. So organization, personal organization does incredibly well. Just have to price it accordingly and pay low. Don't pay that much for them, because 15, 20, 30. And then once you start getting 40 and $50, you really got to look for those right brands, like something like a Filofax, which does really well. You really got to look for those key brands to get you up 40, 50, $60 or so. But if you can get them for like $1, $2, $3 the most, $15, $20 all day. I'll do that all day. All day, every day. Now, postcards. I see a lot of people that sell postcards. A lot of people talk about selling postcards. And I'm always like, postcards kind of boring, right? But I saw this on a baggie wall, and I have 5 packs. This is actually a used pack. There's only 18 cards, supposed to have 40 of them in there. And I paid $2.99 or $3.99 for the pack. I don't remember exactly. But nonetheless, this one here should bring me right at break even. $7 is what it sold for, $5.14 in shipping. Padded poly bag is what it went into. And yeah, I'm already about break even with just selling this one partial. The other ones are all brand new. The other one, 2 of them are just like this. Another 2 are barnyard animals. And they do really well. Retro, vintage. People still look for this stuff. They still look for postcards to send out. People still look for personal organization, writing instruments, paper thing, blank media, CDs, blank CDs, blank DVDs. People are still out there buying these things, and they will pay up for it. You just can't pay too much. You got to make sure you have some good margin in there, so that way you can earn some money as well too. And by the time we sell the other ones have listed for between $12 to $15. A little baggie is going to turn into like I don't know, like after fees, like maybe $40 or so. So like a few, like $3, $4 into $40. So pretty good in my opinion. Okay, so that's everything that I'm gonna show you that what's sold. I'm gonna try to do like 10 every single thing cool, unique. I'm hoping they're all cool, unique ones. Is what I'm hoping, all cool and unique pieces. Nothing like, I'm not gonna throw any Apple stuff in here or Bow stuff that I sell, or your stuff that everybody kind of knows about. I'm trying to pull the cool, unique items that you may be passing up that you don't think you can resell for profit. Okay, I'm going to cut it here, and then we'll get to the second segment.
Hey, you've made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by hitting my little round icon down below. It really does help us out here. Also, you'll find a couple of selections. You'll see a playlist of videos to watch, and my most recent video that I did upload.